What does a positive candidate experience mean to you, or how would you define the positive candidate experience?
When I think about a positive candidate experience, I think about one that is speedy, it is efficient, and it leaves a candidate feeling as if they have gotten the opportunity to make their best case for the opportunity, to share their experience, and one where they are kept abreast of where they are in the process, and one that hopefully ends with some meaningful feedback.
Yes to all of the above. I know you have laid out a model in your own way. So, something we might call the 3 C's to the positive candidate experience and what have you. So tell me, elaborate a little bit on that and what that means to you.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's because my first name begins with a C, my last name begins with a C, that I like C's, but it helps me keep it simple.
Yes.
It's commitment, collaboration, and communication. And when I'm talking about commitment, it's having all the stakeholders agree that providing a positive candidate experience is important for all the reasons that we talked about. Mm-hmm. And that shows itself with the level of investment that we're prepared to make in technology like ATS systems, surveying tools, and feedback tools. The investment we're prepared to make in acquiring benchmark data to understand what's best in class and how we compare. With regards to collaboration, there I'm really thinking about the hiring manager, operations, talent acquisition, talent management, and there may be others. And this is about having an interactive exchange of ideas that ultimately leads to an agreement about how you're going to proceed. Clarity on what are the skills, competencies, and experiences that are relevant today for this role, not 5 years ago. What's the number of candidates on the slate? What's the number of interviews? Who the interviewers are? What's the time frame? When the requisition expires? You get the gist, right? But it is that upfront dialogue. And the partnership with talent acquisition and the calibration with them is so important because essentially they own the internal pipelines. And oftentimes what will happen is that you've solidified a slate of candidates, good candidates, right? And I make no judgment, but there is now an internal candidate. And so you pause the process, you talk to that candidate or candidates, you assess, and how that connects to that broader candidate experience is that you've had these folks now in queue that believe that they were kind of at the final stages. So that calibration is really important and goes much deeper than the standard intake session. Communication is clearly threaded throughout, but here I am isolating the hiring manager, the talent acquisition professional, and the candidate. And it is about having a regular cadence of communication and connection with a standing agenda to talk about who's in process, who is receiving an offer, who's going to be declined, clarity around who's going to provide feedback and to whom, particularly when there is an internal candidate. And more broadly speaking, providing clarity to that candidate about what they can expect in the process. I had an experience, was asked to consider an organization and they outlined their process. And it was, you're going to apply. You're going to get written questions to respond to. It's going to go to a hiring team. This is who they are. You're going to be asked to participate in a video. After that, there may be more questions. Those are going to be in writing. So you get the gist. It was lengthy. Maybe 10 steps is too much. I don't know. But at least what I understood is that there was going to be an investment of my time. There was going to be X amount of time to get to decision. Ultimately, it wasn't the right thing for me, but it showed respect for me and I respected the process.